of you would like to travel the world and actually be paid to do that? I know I wanted to know more about that, and that's why I chose to become an international speaker. And this man right here, Ernesto Verdugo, one of the founding members of the Speakers Travel Club, can help you do the same. Ernesto, thank you so much. It's great to have you here.
I am delighted to be here with you, Melissa.
It's always fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, we've known each other for a little while. We
Exactly.
met in Dubai.
Right. Exactly.
Tell me a little bit about what inspired you to design this Speakers Travel Club. What is it that what's the uniqueness about this experience?
Well, if I go remotely, I've been always fascinated by travel. I mean, since I was very little, my dad gave me the travel bug, and I happen to be the 257th most traveled person in the world.
So the 257.
57.
Okay,
Yes.
not that you're counting.
Well, I actually counted. I'm very. I keep track, of course, and it's something fascinating for me. I mean, cultures, the way that other people live, being open to different ways of thinking. I mean, it just opens your mind. Now, there's a problem that for traveling, you need to be wealthy or you have to make a lot of money. So I wasn't. And I was thinking, well, how could I actually get it done? And I found out that speaking was the way to do it. And I've been speaking, I've spoken in 57 different countries. And it's just been an incredible experience.
That's really wonderful. What is one of the greatest moments for you when you're seeing these people, these speakers come and they participate in your program? How rewarding is it to watch them kind of evolve and really grow and blossom?
Well, as soon as, most speakers that are speakers, they normally stay on their turf, on their home territory.
Yeah.
They don't really think about going international because it's scary for many of them. Many of them, it's the first time they're traveling abroad, and suddenly, I mean, they come to these events and they spend some time with us and they see, we show them the ropes of how things work internationally, and then they suddenly see opportunities absolutely everywhere, because in reality, we are not that different than any other one. We just need to understand that we have different perceptions, and it's just so beautiful to see how they blossom. I mean, their mind opens. You see people going from, I would never do that, to doing some stuff that suddenly starts becoming natural for them, and it's very beautiful.
It is. I know that just in the time that I've been working with you, the difference in my ability to speak has grown tremendously. But I think one of the most beneficial things that you've done is you've really educated speakers on the importance of having the proper tools to assist them to be desirable to promoters or to event planners. And that really comes down to your media kit.
Exactly.
Can you tell us what that means? What does a media kit, like what's the content of a media kit?
Well, this comes back to basic marketing. I mean, most people that want to become speakers, first thing that they do is they take speakers training, which of course is very useful. I mean, I'm not saying that it isn't useful. However, as soon as they finish doing their training, there's a big problem. How do they get on stages?
Yeah.
I started the other way around. I discovered that in order for me to get on stages, I had to give samples to people, and that's how I used to call it, because I didn't really know exactly what it was all about. In those days when I got started, you had to send everything on a VHS tape, and you had to send a printed material with pictures of what you have done and your CV and all these things. And right now you can just get everything done on digital way. So you create your own website. A lot of people get very confused because they, for example, they would like to become speakers and they have like theirname.com. And on theirname.com they have a blog and they have all sorts of stuff that for an event promoter is completely irrelevant. Basically, media kit is what you send to the event promoter with only the specific things that you want him or her to see about you. And it's just relatively simple to assemble because there's The only problem is it's simple to assemble, but it can take a lot of time. And this is exactly what we are doing. I mean, we are helping people shorten the process. Normally it will take a year, 2 years before you can start building your media kit. But the way that we're doing it, by producing events which are media kit adventures, if we would like to put it in a fun way like that. I mean, people coming to Thailand, like where we are right now, or going to Dubai, or going to Rome. We get them to speak on the Colosseum in Rome. We get them to speak in front of the Royal Palace in Thailand, or in the 7-star hotel in Dubai, or in the pyramids of Egypt. And we start getting all this footage. When you're in our events, there's cameras all the time around. I mean, you have to be smiling like if you will be, will be a celebrity. And what happens is that all this footage gets all collected, gets put together on a media kit, and then the important thing is just simply learning how to send this information to event promoters, and then your international career can get started very fast.
I have a question. I live in America, as do you. So why is it so important to be internationally seen? Like, what is about being an international speaker that really makes that difference? Because there are a lot of speakers in the United States. So why would somebody pick an international speaker?
That's a great question. And one that is that needs to be addressed, because of course it's just a hidden opportunity, it's a hidden gem. First of all, in the United States, or in the United Kingdom, or in Australia, there's a lot of very competitive speakers which are incredibly talented. So the competition is extremely fierce. If you are not, if you are not known, it's very difficult to jump into the right speakers circuits. However, internationally, for example, if you're from the United States and you come to Thailand, you have just experienced it here.
Yeah.
I mean, how did the audience receive you? I mean, you were speaking here, they had never heard from you. But instantly in their eyes, you were a celebrity. How many people wanted to have a picture taken with you? How many people wanted to get your book signed? I mean, it just happens instantly, which you will not have this in America. Now, the interesting thing is, the moment that you have spoken now in Thailand, or you have spoken in Dubai, or you have spoken in Cairo, you have spoken in any place else, whenever you go back to America, now you're an international speaker and you have the right to ask for more money. So it's a lot more interesting. So that's one of the reasons. The second reason is because in the United States, and this is an average, there would be something like about 12 to 15,000 events planned per day in the entire country. So there's about 15,000 events planned per day. However, internationally, it's 37,000 events per day. So the amount of events that you can actually get booked abroad almost doubles and a half. So there's
I didn't realize it was that much of a difference.
Oh yeah.
Oh
well,
my
I mean,
gosh.
just bear in mind. I mean, there's 50 states in the U.S. If we consider that every city which has over 150,000 people living on that city has 1 or 2 or 3 events per day, if you do the math, that's what you're
It
getting.
adds
So
up,
now
yeah.
take it internationally, it just quantifies dramatically. And if you're abroad, you have hardly any competition. There's you have the instant celebrity factor. You will be able to get stages a lot easier. Promoters have more interested in working with you. You're not begging. I mean, you're basically saying, well, I'm willing to work with you, and that is what makes speaking internationally so useful and so powerful.
You know what, Ernesto? This is all very good information, and we're going to take a quick break. Please join us when we return. Hi, I'm Melissa Hall. This is The Ripple Effect, and thanks for tuning in. I'm here with Ernesto Verdugo, where you've been sharing with us on what it really takes to be an effective speaker in today's industry, and we've been talking a lot about becoming an international speaker. What is one of the things that you consistently see speakers, whether they're domestic or international, continually make? What's one thing that a tip you would give them on how to improve?
Well, I think, first of all, it's very important that they understand that there's many ways of making money with speaking. Most people think, I mean, right now in this day and age, a lot of people want to go onto stages because they want to sell on the stage. I produced a number of different events which have selling on the stage. Right now, I don't think that model works anymore. I think because, and what happens is that when you see somebody that knows how to sell from the stage, I mean, it's poetry in motion. It's beautiful to see. I mean, you see those pitchmen which are doing great. But that's just a skill that you need to develop, and it takes a number of years to learn. And that is one of the biggest mistakes that most speakers do. They think, well, you know, now I'm a speaker, now I want to sell from the stage. In my eyes, that's just like, you know, trying to run a marathon without really training, and that just doesn't really work like that.
Well, I have a question. Not every speaker has something that they're trying to sell. So tell us are there different types of speakers?
Absolutely. Well, if we, in a easy way to understand, first of all, we have the trainers. The trainers are people that have a body of knowledge, and they can do a brain dump, so to speak, of their knowledge, and it could be 4 hours, 8 hours a week, and they can just deliver training. This makes people feel very comfortable because, of course, you deal normally with small environments, with small crowds. You get to interact a lot, but obviously this is a great way of making money, but it's the one that has the least compensation as a speaker, because of course you will train for an hour. However, if you will become a keynote speaker, you will train for a week, and if you will be a keynote speaker, you will make what you will make in 1 week in 1 hour. So that is an advantage.
Okay.
So I think the most important tip that I can give to speakers is that they need to understand that they have to be flexible and they have to learn the game. It's a game. I mean, the speaking industry is a game, and the more you understand it, the more opportunities that you will see. I mean, there's ways on how to make money, for example, as a master of ceremony. There's way to make money as having your book sent as part of the program. You can make money as, you do a free keynote and then afterwards you do some consulting, or possibly you do a free keynote and then afterwards you can do some workshops, or you can do some trainings. I mean, if you understand how the game is played, you could be incredibly creative in, generating income. And that's what I think is fascinating, because really, it only requires a little bit of understanding, a little bit of skill, and you're up to an incredible career. And you will never have to retire for doing this, because I mean, I know speakers which are 95 years old and they keep on going everywhere and they are presenting. What an awesome thing.
Yeah, that is awesome. Okay, so as people are going along and really developing their speaking abilities, I'm sure that they don't just want to have one message. Mm-hmm. So is there an advantage to being diversified in the things that you talk about?
Oh yeah, absolutely. In my way of thinking, most people will ask you, so what do you speak about? And I mean, it just gets boring. I mean, if I will only speak about one thing, that will just become boring. For me, I believe that event promoters do not choose speakers. They choose topics. If you, instead of trying to sell yourself as a speaker, you sell a topic, even if you're a bad speaker, you will be able to get speaking gigs. Why? Because of course, people are searching for that specific topic. So because of course, you are talking about the topic and not really trying to sell yourself as a speaker, the competition will always be lower.
That's interesting. So sometimes it's about the content, not
Absolutely.
Always necessarily the skill of the speaker. Okay.
Well, just think about it this way. I mean, if they do not know you, they will see a video and possibly you look all right as a speaker. I mean, you're competing against everyone. However, if you have one specific topic which people are looking for, and they cannot find a speaker that talks about that topic, and suddenly you appear, speaking about that specific topic, people are going to call you even if you're not a good speaker. Let me just share with you one example that is that can make a perfect picture of what I'm talking
Sure.
about. About what was it? 3 years ago, what I do to find out the topics that I want to talk to, what I want to talk about next, I just basically put a keyword that I see that is appearing a lot in the search engines, and I will just put that specific keyword with speaker. So 2 or 3 years ago, for example, I put big data speaker because a lot of people were talking about big data. I had no clue about big data. I didn't even clue what it was. So I started learning a little bit about it. I put big data speaker, and then of course I started getting a lot of speaking gigs because of course people were looking were looking for speakers that were talking about that specific topic. So sometimes if you have the skills and you find the topics, you can always create a keynote presentation that is normally between 45 minutes and an hour, up to 75 minutes. And that will definitely keep you on going all the time. I mean, I have close to 300, 400 different presentations that I have done in every topic that you can think of, because I want to always focus on the topic and not on myself.
That's really interesting. So that tells me I've got a lot of work to do. If you've got 300 topics that you're talking about.
Mind you, I've been doing this for 25 years. So.
Okay, that's good to know. One of the great advantages to working with you, Ernesto, is that you offer a very kind of rounded program. There's a lot of content, there's a lot of media exposure, but you also really feel that it's important to get a sense of the culture of the country that the speakers are in. Can you tell me why that's important to you?
Yeah, what happens is that, for example, if you go to a seminar, and you will do it in Wichita or you will do it in Omaha, after you finish the event, you will just take the next plane out and you'll go home. Over here, first of all, you have to surrender, because of course you do not know the environment. So that takes people completely out of okay, well, I am completely comfortable with how everything works on any city in the United States. You take them, or in Europe or whatever it is, and you get them to surrender to whatever you're teaching them. You're guiding them. You become the guide of whoever is coming. They do not know the culture. They do not understand the way that people think. They do not understand how the audience is going to react, what can be done, what cannot be done. So everybody is, having a multi-sensory experience that, fires all the synapses in your brain and makes you remember everything that you're learning. So that's one of the reasons. And also the experience, the connections, it's at every level of understanding, at every level of consciousness. And that for me is very powerful. And what I have noticed, and possibly, well, you have experience it, you know exactly how it works. I mean, you come as an empty canvas, as a blank canvas, and then suddenly you start getting all the colors coming there and painting a beautiful picture. You're getting opinions from other people, and they're all in the same boat, but they have all these beautiful experiences and all this knowledge taken out of the context of being in their own environment. And that's why these kind of learning environments help people be transformed. We never realized how powerful it was until, our last event, you were there in Cairo, in Dubai. It was just, people really let themselves go. They completely surrendered to the experience. They follow the instructions. They enjoy everything that was being given to them and brought to them, and they did great. I mean, they did fantastic jobs on stage, but they also got incredible training, incredible footage for their marketing. And now we have seen some of the examples that each of them has actually put together, and it's just beautiful. And to see how powerful that could be. Now, imagine you take that marketing collateral and you compare it to somebody that has done it with somebody in the States. That feeling is not there. And that is actually what makes great marketing collateral for selling yourself as a speaker.
And it really does help answer that critical question of why someone would want to work with you. When you have experience standing in front of the pyramids and speaking to a crowd there, it really does set you apart. I mean, it's that undeniable proof that you are, you've traveled the world, you've gained this experience, and it's really, it's so needed, and I think very valuable what you're doing. I do have a question that's related to just you. I want to know a little bit more about you. What has inspired you to continue, to train other speakers? What is it about the stage that you find so fascinating, and you want to share that with other people?
Yeah, sure. I think every speaker has someone that has switched the speaking switch on them. In my case, it was in 1986. I was in LA, and I was on the seminar from Jim Rohn, which it's for many people has been the person that inspired so many other speakers, including Tony Robbins. And actually, he's telling on the stage the story of that Tony Robbins was sitting there on the stage, and he said, well, somebody on this audience is going to become a great speaker, and he's going to become a big influencer.
Wow.
And the person that actually stood up was Tony Robbins. So when he was actually saying that story, I said, you know what? This is me this time. On this day, This is me. And that got me started, and I started speaking. I became a trainer for the Dutch national airline. I was responsible for training all the staff in the 5 continents, and then afterwards I was also training the travel industry, hotels, airlines, ships, all sorts of different companies which have to do with travel. And I always enjoyed to see the joy that it was, enlightening people. I mean, switching the bulb on other people, making people aware that there's so many different ways to live, and that's exactly what got me inspired to speak. And now what I try to give to all the people that work with us is that enthusiasm of sharing their message, and how their message can influence other people. Because in reality, it's just one. I like using that metaphor of that candle that lights another candle, that lights another candle, that lights another candle, and I can see it. I can see a little bit of me in every single one of my students, and that's something that really, really touches my heart.
Oh gosh, I know that you have definitely touched my heart, and you've given me this confidence to really share my story in a very authentic way, and really touch and impact other people. It's important, and important work, and what you're doing is wonderful. So I appreciate everything. If there is a person out there that is thinking about stepping onto that stage, how can they find you, and how can they get involved with the Speakers Travel Club?
Well, they can go to speakerstravelclub.com, or they can contact me in social media, everywhere. Ernesto Verdugo. You can, I guess it's going to appear here somewhere.
Yeah, we're going to have it. We'll have it down here somewhere for you.
Yeah, so you can find it. I'm relatively easy to find.
Okay. Where are we going? Where is Speakers Travel Club going that you're so excited about?
Absolutely everywhere. I mean, we have 3 years planned ahead of all the places where we're going to go. We're going to go to London. We're going to go to where we're going to be speaking in the YouTube offices. We're going to be going to Rome. We're going to Muscat, the Sultanate of Oman. We're going to Cuba, which I think is going to be very exciting. We have so many different destinations and experiences. I think that should be the right word. We have so many experiences that go a lot further than speaking, because as we were saying, it's a multi-layered way of growing your life. I mean, not only you are inspiring others, but I think it's also an incredible community of people which are so open, so giving, and it's really a family which is actually being created right now.
I agree. I definitely agree. So Thank you, Ernesto, for
Thank you,
being
Melissa.
here
It's been
today. And
awesome
I
to
want
be
to
here.
thank you for tuning in and participating in this. If you have a story, a message, or a product that you would like to learn how to promote from the stage, please find Ernesto Verdugo and Rich Carson at Speakers Travel Club. I appreciate you watching. I'm Melissa Hall, and this has been The Ripple Effect.